the wonderful Portillo family. I have so much. Y'all are on my superhero list, by the way. You got to know the Portillo family. You know what? Talk to Amani if y'all ever want to do something at the convention. I don't know if y'all should. I think that literally we should be trained on how to build great families, and the Portillo family is one of those examples that's out there. I think that that kind of training is the kind of stuff we should do as standard in our community. I really just think you got to stop letting white people tell you what your protocol should be, what your standard educational process should look like. I'm not saying this to be anti-white. I'm just saying this to be pro-black, that, all those other people that design these educational programs that don't work, that don't give us adequate skill, that don't teach us anything that's going to have value in our lives, those people are not qualified to educate you. They're just not. So, in my opinion, I think we should look at what we need and educate ourselves on the things that we need. And one thing that we need is we need to build strong families. We have to make this a mandatory requirement. I just really think about how much less pain, devastation, economic trauma would be out here if we had stable families. If we had families where people could just try to get on the same page, learn a little bit about things like marriage and how that works, develop a protocol for family unity. I think every family should have a therapist or somebody that can kind of come in and help you work out your issues. Because when you have a bunch of traumatized people kind of trying to do stuff together as a group, it just becomes a complete mess. And it's very anti-wealth, by the way. It's a massive, massive wealth destroyer because every time you start something and you can't finish it, that's wasted resources. That's wasted time, wasted money, lost money, all kinds of stuff. Even if I always use a simple example to help everybody understand what I see when I see a broken family or when a group of people that used to work together that can't work together anymore. Think about like a musical group. One of my good friends, Willie D, is from the Ghetto Boys, and Willie, he was like, we're really good friends. He was in my wedding, and so I remember, just kind of talking to Willie, and I said, "Man, do you know that you and Scarface and Bushwick, if you guys could get along, and go on tour together, there's so much money out there. That a lot of people would love to see the Ghetto Boys." And Willie, he's a good guy. He's funny. He's got that Texas accent. He'd be like, man, Bushwick, man, and then they get into like these issues, which is gonna happen when you've been working with somebody for 30 years. And but I'm sitting there thinking, if this was back when Bushwick was alive, right? RIP to Bushwick Bill, but basically it's like and I don't think Willie would mind me sharing that as an example, but in my head, I was seeing all the millions of dollars that are lost when you can't get on the same page. Do you understand? So for a lot of your families, you lose a lot of money because you can't get on the same page. So pay attention now. In the midst of all these things that white people tell you that you're supposed to learn in order to make money, like you got to go get a degree in accounting and you have to go spend $200,000 on a bachelor's degree, or maybe I should go back to school again and get my master's. How many of y'all have heard people say that, right? Amidst all those other things that they're telling you that will go get you more money, those things that do not work, I think that maybe you should add conflict resolution skill to your list of essential skills that a person can have that will keep the money flowing. Do you understand? Like that will maintain those relationships. Let me know if you get what I'm saying. Sometimes I need like yeses so you get so you're just to know that you're following me because I don't want this to sound like I don't think I'm talking over anybody's head. Because all of us just know that pain and that loss that comes from not being able to work together, and it's hurtful, it's traumatic, and all these other. It costs you a lot more than just money. But I want you to also see the money. I want you to see in economics we call this the shadow cost. Or another term for it would be the opportunity cost. See, people that are not financially conscious, they don't see the shadow cost. They don't see what they would have had. If you can't even see what's in front of you, how are you going to see what you could have had and would have had if things had gone different? That requires your consciousness to be able to go to a higher dimension where you can look in the fourth and fifth dimension and see all the possibilities that God put in front of you that you completely missed. And what does the word poor stand for? Right? Put it in the chat. What does poor, Poor, stand for? It stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. So here's what that means. This means to me that every day there's this shadow universe of all these possibilities that you could be. You could be a millionaire, you could be running a business with your cousin, you could be quitting your job and living your best life. All these are shadow realities that many of us can't see because all we can see is what's in front of us. So we're walking past all these opportunities, passing over opportunities repeatedly and saying, gosh, this is all I have. All I have is $20. But that's because you're poor. You're poor because you're poor. You're not just poor in money, you're poor in insight and vision because you're poor because the only reality you're able to lock into is the reality that's in front of you, the one that has $20 in your pocket. You can't lock into you don't have the consciousness yet to lock into the other 10 million realities that could have existed, these other parallel universes, like Avengers, Marvel style, these other 10,000 universes that existed where you could have had all the money in the world. Do you understand? So get that consciousness up. I encourage you to join us in the morning. We do financial consciousness training every morning. We did a really good one this morning about reparations and repair and how we can give ourselves reparations. And I guarantee you, you're going to love it. And it's going to help you think about money in a way that's completely different from anything you've ever seen. I've seen people do even money mindset classes and all that. No, my wife is a PhD level therapist. I have a PhD in finance. You combine that, it really is like super friends. That's why I love my wife, is because we're like, I love the idea of smart black people getting together and really thinking hard about the black community. That's what's, I mean, I think that's what's going to solve our problem. All right. So anyway, thank you for letting me share that quick stream of consciousness. Let's get back to the market. Okay, so put your question in the Q&A section, and if you have a question for me, I'm going to start in a couple areas that I think you should be aware of in terms of what's going on in the stock market. Also, I want to remind everybody that at drboycebooks.com, our Black Wealth Mastery Store, everything today for 24 hours only is 60% off. Every single thing, anything you want to buy, you can buy $1 billion worth of stuff. We would take 60% off the price. So if you go to drboycebooks.com, here's the code. Write down this code. Write down the URL. Somebody write it in the chat so everybody can see it. drboycebooks.com. And the discount code is today only 2024. Today only 2024. All one word. It's all one word. Put that in when you check out, and it will take 60% off. Even if there's already a discount, even if there's already 50% off, it'll take another 60% off. So it's almost like a big discount or something. So feel free to go to drboycebooks.com. The code is today only 2024. And if somebody's used it, okay, somebody says great sale, just made my purchase, says Renee. Okay, great. So the code's working, everything's good. Yeah, and we have financial flashcards for kids. Financial flashcards that cover everything from let's see. We have entrepreneurship, real estate, credit, all kinds of stuff, investing, of course. We have financial workbooks for kids that cover every grade band, investing money, all kinds of stuff, how to start a business, all that. We also have my books, of course, the 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, Black American Money, a lot of financial lovemaking, all that. My wife's stuff is there also, and she's done a lot of workbooks on financial trauma, financial anxiety, stuff like that. So feel free to just go take a look and buy whatever you want. And there we go. All right. So here we go. Let's jump into some of the Q&A for today. All right. So someone says, Doc, I know you love Portillos. Are you buying more stock? I have not bought more stock in Portillos, but I do like the company. I do like Portillo. I just feel like Portillos is one of those best kept secrets, such that once Portillos gets sort of more mainstream, I think it's going to do great. I really do. Portillo's is so good. My wife and I, every time we see a Portillo's, we always stop there and eat. And that's just almost like a rule in our relationship. You have those little places that you have to stop at and things you have to do. And we share like our favorite hotel and stuff like that. Portillo's is one of our favorite restaurants. And actually, in fact, I like Portillo's so much that I'm actually pulling the stock up on my E-Trade. Just generally speaking, when you talk about investing, this is how I want you to view investing. I want you to view it as something that you just do, almost like watching a TV show or going to the grocery store. Don't make it a big deal. Don't overthink it. Don't let it scare you. But just know that, like, when you're missing out on all this investing opportunity, you're losing wealth, man. The stock market is the greatest wealth creator in America, and I just don't want that to pass you by. Okay, so what I'm going to do literally right now, just because I just like to act, I don't like to just talk about things, is I'm actually going to look at Portillo stock, and I'm probably going to buy some shares. Now, as I'm looking at it now, let me look at the bull case and the bear case. Every stock has both. Every stock has the reasons that it could go to the moon. Every stock has its reasons that it could just flop to the ground. Portillos is now trading at 10.22. This is a big drop. The stock's dropped 35, actually 50% this year since its IPO. That's a big deal. Analysts still like the stock. When I look at Portillos, let me see what they're saying in the analysis of Portillos. Let's see here. Okay, they're saying nothing. I'm looking here in Robinhood Gold, hoping that they'll give me some analysis, and they don't have any analysis. Okay, I don't have anything in front of me on this. So maybe there's some stuff here on E-Trade. Let's see. Analyst research. Let me click here and see what's here. In case you want to know how the story ends, I am going to buy some more Patillo stock because, and here's the deal. I don't know for sure what's going to happen. I just have my belief. Remember, investing is a little bit like a religion. It's you have a belief that a company or an industry is going to eventually turn around and do better, or that you just want to get on the boat. You want to be involved. You want to own this. And so let's say Portillo stock is only worth half of what the IPO was, and it's trading for the next 5 years around that range. Well, number one, investing isn't just something to grow wealth. It's also what they call a store of value. A store of value means that it's just like a bucket. You're putting your money in a bucket. So here's the reason why I believe in investing, even if I don't know if the investment's going to do great, is that let's say I invest in something and it loses 30% of its value in the next 5 years. Well, that means that I put in, say, $1,000. In 5 years, I'm going to have $700. Now, I want you to think about other things people might do with $1,000, like go on a trip. If I go on a trip and I spend that $1,000, how much of that money am I going to have 5 years from now? None. None. Nothing. I'll have memories though. That's a good thing, but I won't have any money. If I go to the mall, spend that $1,000. 5 years later, nothing. Most of those clothes will be in the garbage. If I spend $1,000 on my new iPhone, the iPhone will be gone in 5 years because the Apple's gonna convince me to buy another one. So I don't think investing in a stock is something where it should be like make or break. Like I'm only going to invest if I know for sure what's going to happen. Let me just tell you, I've been through all the research. I've read thousands of papers on these topics. I have written original research papers on these topics. In case you don't know what the standard is to write an original research paper, you have to discover something that no human being in the history of the world has ever discovered. That's a lot of pressure. But I've written about 14 research papers like that, and that's what I had to do because that's what you do as a professor. That's what we do with our time. And what I can tell you is that most theories agree that you really can't predict what a stock is going to do. However, you can look at what's in front of you. And what the fundamentals kind of say is number one, a lot of analysts still believe Portillo's has some upside. In fact, the majority of them do. Let's see here. I'm looking to see what some of them are saying about this stock. Most of the estimates for Portillo's are higher than the $10 amount. The average price target for this stock on E-Trade anyway is $17. So that means that if it does go up to 17 or beyond, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to say, great, it's good that the market finally figured out what we've known all along, but it may not do that, right? There's no guarantees. You have to know that about investing. So let me read a little bit here. There's a guy named Nick. Nick, what's his name? It's like an Italian name. Nick, sorry, Stifel. I said Nick. Stifel Nicholas. He kept his buy rating on Portillo's, and what did he say? He says, drum roll, please. Let's see. The company has a 1-year high of 23.99 and a 1-year low of 9.93. Okay, I'm still waiting for them to get to the description. Okay, let's talk about the company. The company serves Chicago street food through high energy and multi-channel restaurants. We know these things. Tell me why you like the stock. I'm looking for, you know what? There is no other crap. Okay, let me see what UBS has to say. All they did was they just in this article they just described the stock. They didn't tell me why they had this analysis. So let me see if okay, UBS believes improving traffic trends, reduced macro pressure, and better visibility into the margin trajectory represent necessary catalysts from here. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that they believe that there are trends in traffic in terms, I guess, store traffic, stuff like that, that are in the favor of the company. Reduce macro pressure. Perhaps they're talking about things like interest rates being high, making it maybe difficult to expand and build more stores, or maybe pressure on the consumer. I don't think that's what they're talking about, but that could be an issue. Also, better visibility in the margin trajectory. So I'm thinking when they say better visibility, my first thought is just visibility of the franchise. I think Portillo's is a great company and a great franchise to make a great product. But then they say into the margin trajectory. So I'm guessing that means that their profit margins, meaning how much money do they make on every sale. So either way, though, most people are predicting that Portillo's stock is going to be a good investment. So here's what I do, right? So I buy it and I don't overthink it. It's just like, saying, hey, I'll go on a date with this lady just to see if I like her. But because I also have a positive belief about this stock, I'm going to go ahead and maybe dollar cost average my way in. And because remember, when the stock price drops, you can either see it as confirmation that the company is starting to nosedive, or you can see it as, oh, wow, what a buying opportunity. It's really a choice. It's really a choice. In fact, that's what makes trade happen in the market. That's what makes stocks sell. That's what makes the options market so active, is that you have what they call information dispersion. You have different people who are seeing the same information and walking away with different interpretations of that information. So someone says, Portillo's stock is now down to $10.22. So I come to the market, I run to the market because I say, woo, this is a buying opportunity. Portillo's is on sale. But then maybe you are willing to sell to me because you're seeing that same information and you're saying, oh man, this shows Portillo's is a dud. I'm getting rid of that. Right. So to some extent, in order for us to trade, we have to have different religious beliefs. Seriously, I believe I'm a bull, you're a bear. That's why we trade. If we were both bears or both bulls, then what would happen is that the price would keep moving until we establish what they call a new equilibrium. So what would happen if we were both bulls? Almost like it's almost like trying to date somebody, and I'm a dude looking for a pretty lady, and you're a dude looking for a pretty lady. That ain't really gonna work because I don't roll like that. I don't go to Diddy parties, right? So it would be kind of awkward, right? So you'd have to be looking for something very different from what I'm offering. But in trade, you actually have the ability for two bulls to eventually make a deal. And let me tell you why. I might be a bull and you might be a bull. But then we go to the second dimension, the second derivative. How much of a bull are you? It reminds me of that movie Civil War. I saw the movie Civil War this week, and the guy says, "Don't shoot me. I'm an American." And he said, "You're an American, huh? Well, what kind of American are you?" Right. So what he was saying is like, we need to go to another level. Yeah, you're an American. Well, so am I. But are you a Colorado American? Are you a San Francisco American? Are you a Texas American? Right. Different kinds of Americans. So I'm a bull. You're a bull. But what kind of bull are you? Maybe I'm a bull who believes that Portillo's is going to go to the moon. It's going to go back to 24, the high of 24 and beyond. Maybe you're a bull that believes that Portillo's is going to go up, but not to the moon. So here's what would happen if two bulls get together and try to make a trade, and the price is at $10 and something. So I'm a buyer and you're a buyer. Well, that's not going to work. So what would happen is that when you have a lot of bulls, a lot of people that want to buy, you have too many buyers. What happens to the price? Answer me in the chat. What happens to the price of a stock when you have an imbalance between the numbers of buyers and sellers, where everybody wants to be a buyer, everybody wants to get a piece of the action? What's going to happen to the price of that asset? I'll let you answer while I buy my Portillo stock. There we go. It's been purchased that quick. It goes up, right? It goes up. It goes to 11, then 12, then 13, then 14, then 15. And we're all bulls. So we're all for it. We're still buying. I'm buying at 12. I'm buying at 13. I'm buying at 14. I'm buying at 15. But then there's a point where we're playing a game of chicken. There's a point where you get off the bus. There's a point where you say, okay, you know what? I'm ready to take profits now. I want to go ahead and cut my stake in Portillo's. I don't think this stock is going to go to the moon. I'm willing to go so far, but not too far. So then what happens is we establish a new equilibrium where you switch. It's almost like they talk about people being able to switch genders and all that. Not to be political, but that's what it makes me think about. You can literally switch genders financially. You can switch financial genders. You can go from being a bull to a bear. You can go from being a buyer to a seller, right? Well, why? What changes the DNA of your your situation as a market participant? What changes that economic DNA? It's the price. The price of the asset changes everything. So now, because the price is no longer 10, it's now 17. Maybe you switched from being a bull to a bear. You got to the point where you say, I think the stock is priced too high. I'm going to go ahead and start selling some shares. So then I can buy from you at what they call a new equilibrium price of, $16, $17. That's kind of what's happening with AMC and GameStop. And I really wanted to talk about that because I just think it's so exciting to see the meme stocks and all that. There's opportunities to make money, but it's also a perilous, risky space. And effectively with AMC, let me tell you what just happened with AMC. First off, AMC, in case you don't know what's been going on, AMC and GameStop have been acting just ridiculous. They've been just extra ghetto this week. AMC literally went up 100% last night. I don't know if y'all know that AMC went up 100%. AMC stock just a few days ago, you could have bought AMC stock for $3. Now it's priced at 727. Now here's what's interesting though. The price so far today has gone up 40% since this morning, but it's dipped quite a bit since this afternoon. Earlier, it was as high as 11 or $12.66. So if you bought at 12.66, you've lost a big chunk of almost half of your investment. You lost 40% of your investment if you bought when the price was at 12.66. Hence is the risk in participating in such a volatile, chaotic situation. The problem with AMC and GameStop is that there's no economic fundamentals backing any of this move. This is all being driven by the Redditors and the AMC apes and Roaring Kitty and this whole culture around meme stocks. That's what's been driving the price. And this really is pretty tantamount to old school market manipulation. There's nothing new about a meme stock. There's nothing new about meme stocks. This has been happening for over 2, 3, 400 years. In fact, it's been happening for thousands of years. People have always manipulated prices since the beginning of time. I'm just really curious to see when they're going to make this illegal, because what's happening is they're doing things on these message boards to push the price way, way up. And what's going to ultimately occur is that you're going to have a scandal where you'll find out that there are people in the center who are manipulating this situation to make sure that they know exactly when to sell and exactly when to buy. It's no different. It's as predictable in my mind. It's as predictable as the fact that when they started to legalize sports gambling and promote gambling at every sporting event, I said at some point they're going to have a big scandal. There's going to be some NBA player, NFL players going to get caught fixing the spread or fixing points. And so far, they've only had two scandals. These are the first two in what will be dozens of scandals. One was the biggest, highest paid baseball player in the major leagues, a Japanese guy. His manager was taking bets on baseball games or something, or doing something illegal with baseball games. And then number two, there was an NBA player that played for the Toronto Raptors who has been suspended for life because he was doing something, basically the equivalent of point shaving in an NBA game. They're not the only ones though. There are going to be other people that are doing the same thing. Just there's too much money involved. So really, in a way, they're making the mistake of thinking that I can get close to the fire and I won't get burned. No, they're gonna burn the whole damn house down. And at some point, just imagine in 5 years, the cover of some major sports magazine, maybe Sports Illustrated. I don't know if they're still here or not. They're going to have some big gambling scandal on the cover that's going to involve some LeBron James level player who's making hundreds of millions of dollars fixing games. But that's here nor there. All right. So now what would I do with AMC or GameStop? First of all, I would really have to understand that it's a casino. Like that's the first thing you got to understand is that if you get involved with these stocks, you are playing a game of musical chairs. You don't know when Cinderella is going to turn into a pumpkin. When these stocks start to trade at their true value, then bad things are going to happen. What has already occurred is that the smart money has already reacted to this. When they see this is what they call irrational exuberance. When smart money people start to see retail investors or gamblers, pretty much, or the Redditors start to push the stock price up, they immediately jump in, and their mindset is that of a seller. Their mindset tends to be not, I'm going to ride this wave until the wheels fall off. Their mindset is, okay, how do we take advantage of this by selling this $2 asset for 10, $12? Well, I can tell you already that part of the reason the stock price declined is because the first thing that AMC did when they saw the price take off is they sold $250 million worth of stock. They sold when they started seeing this happen. They didn't say we're going to ride with you, with the apes to the end. I saw Planet of the Apes yesterday. It was a little bit boring. I'm not going to lie. I fell asleep twice, but I watched Civil War the day before. Civil War kept me awake. Planet of the Apes didn't, but they were both decent movies though. But anyway, since we were talking about apes, I just thought I'd bring that up. All right, so what's happened is that the price has dropped because the people at the top, the insiders, are selling. And that's consistent with financial theory. In financial theory, the people that know more about an asset, when the market watches those people to decide what to do. So if the insiders are selling, the outsiders should be saying, wait a minute, you're selling. So if you're selling, I should be selling too, because I don't know what's going on with this company. I don't know what's going to happen next. So I'm just going to follow your lead. Or another way to look at it is that when you increase the supply of a commodity, typically the price goes down. It does not go up. So the AMC insiders are selling for logical reasons. They know that their stock is not going to be trading at this 8, 9, 10, $12 range, most likely in the future. It's going to go back to normal. And so they're taking advantage of the getting while the getting's good, because AMC is a company that really needs the cash flow. Now, there's that other side, where people may jump in. Again, if you're a speculator, you can jump in and say, I'm going to buy this stock at this price now and hope that it continues to go up forever. Well, I don't know how that, I mean, here's the thing. If you do this, I'm not here to tell you what to do or not to do. I do not give investing advice on this channel. Let me know. Give me a yes or no if you understand that I do not give investing advice on this channel. I've been having to repeat that 1,000 times ever since there were people who somehow believe that I own the Tulsa Real Estate Fund or own some percentage of it or whatever. No, I did not own it. I supported it, but I don't own the damn thing. So I have to make sure I repeat this so that people will get this. So the slow kids in the back will understand. All right. So this is not investing advice, but here's what you could do if you wanted to participate and have a little bit of fun. Well, the first thing is, number one, if you jumped into this game, you'd have to be fully aware that you can lose every single penny that you put up. Make sure you understand that. You just have to know this, right? Because this stock could go right back to $3 a share. Game over. It doesn't do anything it doesn't wake up for another 5 years or something. Now, if you did jump in, one thing you could do is, in order to sort of give yourself a little bit of cushion, is you could take advantage of the fact that when a stock gets this much activity, the options market starts jumping. It just goes insane. Options prices get ridiculously high when a stock attracts a lot of speculators. So right now, if I look at AMC stock, I'm willing to bet you, yeah, the options are insanely highly priced. So the price is $7.35. If I sell a call option with a strike all the way up at $10, I could get $1 per share. What does that mean? Well, that means, number one, that it's almost like buying something at the store and instantly getting a rebate. So if I stepped in and I said, I'm going to buy $7,000 worth of AMC stock, I can instantly sell that call option and get a rebate of $1,000 or $1,100. That would provide a little bit of cushion in case this stock does collapse on me. It also still gives me some upside in case the stock goes crazy. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to have FOMO if this stock shoots up to $50 a share. I'm going to be mad. I'm going to say, dang it, why didn't I buy more shares? Well, you can still do that. Like, you could buy, you don't have to sell options on everything that you own. You could sell the rights on half of what you own and then let the other half kind of float, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's speculatory. It's not real investing. It's more like day trading / gambling. But hey, I'm not here to judge you on that. Now here's the other problem though. See, here's the thing though. What a lot of people do, and this is what Mark Cuban did when he did one of the 10 greatest trades in Wall Street history, is he got this big payoff in Yahoo stock. He sold the calls, so he sold the rights on the upside, but he kept a little bit for himself, but he sold most of the rights to the upside, and then he bought puts to protect from the downside. Well, the problem with that strategy in this case, they call that a collar, by the way. The problem with this strategy in this case is that when the price of the calls go up, the price of the puts also go up. Because what you're having with AMC and GameStop is the equivalent of a financial civil war. It's a financial civil war because half the people get there and they're like these AMC apes who think the stock is gonna start at 7.35 and then it's gonna go to 15, 20, 30, 45 bucks. And then you have people that are like, this is stupid. This stock's eventually going to collapse. I want put options on this stock because this is like taking candy from a baby, because when this stock deflates and it starts to drop, I want to be there to make money. So if you were to buy a put, though, here's that problem, though. If you bought a put that expires, say, May 17th, if you look at the puts are really expensive. They're really expensive. So like even if I bought a put, the price is 735. So even if I bought a put with a strike of 550, I'm paying 75 cents a share for that. So if I sold my call for $1.10, but I'm paying 75 cents for my put, I'm cutting into my profit margin quite a bit, right? So ultimately, I don't know if that strategy works as well, and it certainly doesn't work if you were to do it kind of the same way we talk about in the prime class, where you buy the long term put and you're going to make money on this stock over a long period of time. That doesn't really work as well in this case because you don't know how long this flare up is going to last. That's the thing. You don't know how long this civil war is going to last. So it could last for a week, it could last for a month, it could be a year, but you just don't know. So just know that if you participate, there is money that can be made. As long as you're fully prepared for the fact that you may lose money. So, if you wanted to know what I did for fun, I did buy just a very small number of shares, just a couple hundred, and I instantly sold call options on those shares. I did not buy put options on those shares. So the downside is that I have to hold these shares until the expiration date because that's the collateral for the contract that I sold. And so generally speaking, it did the strategy work? Yeah, it worked pretty well. The strike prices I picked were pretty high, and the stock is way off that strike price. And so I think these calls are going to expire worthless. And so I made a little bit of money. But remember, the downside though is that I have this asset that could easily deflate in value. So that's why I only bought a couple of hundred shares instead of buying a couple of thousand. I'm not going to put the bulk of my wealth or even more than 0.1% of my wealth into AMC GameStop because this is not a healthy place to really be trading on a regular basis, in my opinion. So I would encourage you to observe, learn, understand, maybe dabble if you feel up to it, but don't think of this as like this get money opportunity because it's going to be a bloodbath when these stocks finally come down to earth. And the people, the roaring kitties of the world, the people in the epicenter of this, they're going to walk away with millions, and then millions of little 24-year-olds, sitting in their parents' basement on their laptops are going to get slaughtered. That's what I believe. That's my 2 cents. Okay. All right. So speaking of Get Money, by the way, you guys know the Get Money Fest is hosted by JRTs in Philadelphia, May 18th. It's totally free if you want to join. Well, the standard tickets are free, and then they have VIP tickets that can give you a little more access to people like me, and you could come talk to me and stuff. So feel free to go to getmoneyfest.com if you would like to join us in Philly. I'll be there. And Asia Kirkendall, who wrote the book Quantum Wealth Theory, who is an extraordinary financial psychologist who is actually going to join the faculty in the Black Business School. She'll be there. There's another Asia. I don't have her last name, but she's a branding expert. There's a lot of great people there. Michael Edwards, who's a Forex expert, who's a former banker and lender, is going to be there. So there are lots of great people there that know how to make money. And so this is kind of like an art, fashion, and music festival with a heavy, heavy, heavy financial literacy component. So if that's your thing, if you want to network with people and have some fun and learn economics, the Get Money Fest is the place to be. So it's going to be in Philadelphia, May 18th. I'm going to be there for a couple of hours, but it is 6 hours long. So feel free to go to getmoneyfest.com if you're interested. All right, so let's see. Naomi says, hey, Dr. Boyce, I made some money selling covered calls on FFIE and EOSE in the past, and now they dropped extensively. What do you think about them? Okay, Naomi. All right, so let's see here. If I were to look at, what was it? You said FFIE? Makes me think about fee fi fo fum, like the giant. Okay, Faraday, Future Intelligent Electric. That stock is really low price. I mean, that's a 28 cent stock. I don't think the options market is, I mean, it's a really hard options market to really participate in. I mean, you can sell calls, I mean, and make money, but ooh, yeah, there's something about this company. I'm willing to bet you that the stock has probably plummeted. Yeah, it's dropped 58% this year, 99% in the last year. Yeah, I would just say that companies like this, they're teetering on the brink of death. And sometimes you buy something that's on the brink of death and then it comes back to life. So maybe this $25 stock doubles and becomes a 50 cent, sorry, this 25-cent stock doubles and becomes a 50-cent stock, but sometimes it doesn't. One of the interesting things about Faraday, though, ironically, is that the stock price today has gone up 378%, which is crazy, right? So, if you wanted to have fun, like I would see the stock more like a speculative purchase. I would not see it as like, yeah, this is the thing that's going to get me out of the hood. But I mean, Lord, I mean, if the meme stockers are just giving away money like this, literally 200 shares would cost you like $50. So again, if you want to have some fun, you can mess with it. But I mean, just know there's a good chance you can end up losing money as long as you know that. That's okay. Um, actually, so just out of respect for everyone else, I'm going to move to the other questions. So if you have a question about a stock, if you could ask about one at a time, that would really help me kind of make sure I get a chance to talk to everybody. Also, if selling all call options stuff like that is of interest to you and you want to get good at it, feel free to join us at drboyceprime.com. drboyceprime.com is where we generate income selling call options and designing strategies to protect the investment. It's a great family business if that's something that you're interested in doing. And by the way, for those of you that are in the Prime program, I did just make a new update of the Moneymaker grid. So there are I want to say about 25 stocks that I vetted and I did my calculations and put together the whole spreadsheet. Look at that last column, and ROI is the number that tells you which ones generate the most income. And so feel free to go to drboyceprime.com and take a look at the Moneymaker grid. I just updated that last night. Now, someone asked, what are meme stocks? Meme stocks are basically the stocks that trade on emotion and almost like irrational behavior. They're stocks that have valuations that exceed their fundamental value based on standard financial models. So, if you were to look at a financial model and try to understand AMC, you would come to a valuation of like $1. Like that stock is probably worth about $1 based on these models. But if you go to the market, it's clearly trading for more than $1. And that is why it's called a meme stock because it's built on what they call irrational exuberance. There are other companies out there that are benefiting the meme stock trend. For example, Trump Media. Trump Media, DJT, that's the ticker symbol, has gone up 100% in the last month, or it's actually doubled in the last month. This is a stock that, based on most research reports, is worth almost nothing. It's worth less than $1. And but right now it's trading at 54.83. And so a person who invests in the stock, you're not really investing so much in a company as much as you're investing in the belief that Trump supporters will always pump up his stock because they like him so much. So in a way, this has become a type of campaign finance for Trump because he raised $2 or $3 billion by issuing these worthless shares to the market, and people are paying $54.85 for them. So if your goal is to bet on the loyalty of Trump supporters, then that might be an investment to make. But if you're investing in a company based on fundamentals, it's not a good investment in my opinion. All right. And by the way, if you have a question, put it in the Q&A section. I'm going to answer all the questions in the Zoom in the Q&A. For those of you that want to be invited to the Zoom or invited to the Q&A, get on our text list and I'll send you a link to join us. Just text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. Once you text morning to 87948, I will send you invitations to join us for the portfolio power play and the Black Stock Market program and all that stuff so you can take a look at all the material. All right, so let's see. Zoe says if someone came into the same capital of around 10K into some capital, okay, around 10K, would this be enough for a monthly income of 3 to 5K? That would be hard to do, Zoe. That would be very hard to do. I think a capital base of 10K, I would say a few $100 a month or something like that. I wouldn't, or maybe if you were careful and use margin, you could get to over 1,000 a month or something. But I can't make promises like that. I don't want to make those sorts of promises. But I could say that I've seen that happen. I've seen people take $10,000 in capital and really do a lot with it, where it bumped up their income quite a bit. And so again, I think it's a great family business. You get that cousin, that relative that's got a little extra money sitting in their 401k. You tap into a little bit of that. Maybe somebody taps into a little bit of a HELOC. Not all of your wealth. I'm not saying all of your money, but a little bit of it. And then you get into the covered call writing and managing the portfolio properly, the stuff that we do in the Prime program, picking the right stocks. It's a game changer. It's literally a game changer. There was one family that came in and we did a one-on-one and they had about 95,000 in a HELOC. And I sat down and I said, well, how much are your bills every month? And it was about 7,000 a month. And we figured out how to get almost 7,000 a month just in income. And I literally showed them my portfolio. I said, this is what I'm invested in. This is how I generate my income for my family. And they pretty much just I said, but this is not investing advice. But if you want to copy, you can, because this is what I do every week, and it really changed everything. So this to me is the best way to make money that there is. I haven't seen anything. I've known for a long time about real estate and entrepreneurship and other forms of investing, and I just really think this is a great pathway for those that want to generate income and don't want to have to go to work anymore. Maybe you're a good saver. It works best for those that have a capital base, though. If you don't have a capital base, you have to figure out a way to get one. That might be where the family business and all that stuff kicks in. And those of you that are in the Prime program, say something in the chat about your experience. If you want to share with others what the experience has been like for you so that they can go take a look if they want to. drboyceprime.com is where you can log in, drboyceprime.com. Okay, so let's see. Okay, next question is Kamisha, Dr. B, are you going to put out a new moneymaker grid soon? Yes, Kamisha, I just did. So if you're curious about the stocks that I like the most for options, just log in drboyceprime.com, and there is the moneymaker grid. Chanel, I believe Chanel put it in there today. I sent it to her last night, so that is available to you. And I know Amani's here. Amani, I don't know if you're able to see it and you want to put the link where people can go log in and get the moneymaker grid, but feel free to share it in the chat. Let's see. King May says, okay, so King, you have a lot of questions. I'm going to answer two. I'm going to do the first two. And then if you have other questions, you can ask other questions later. I just want, just out of respect for everyone, it's hard to do 5 questions at once. But let's see. The first question is, what's late close opinions? Can you buy stocks on the weekend? Yes, you can buy stocks on the weekend. You have a 24-hour market for some stocks. Not all stocks are available to be purchased on the weekends, but there are stocks that have a 24-hour market. There is talk about making the entire stock market into a 24-hour experience. Let's see. Do you like the industrial sector? Yes, I like industrials. What sectors of stocks are my favorite? I don't really have a favorite sector. I kind of invest in all of them. But I think energy is good. I started buying stock in a uranium ETF. URA is the ticker symbol. URA. Again, not investing advice, but that's what I'm doing. URA I like because there is a high demand for uranium that's going to occur, according to most experts, because AI is going to take a lot of energy. And all this energy is going to require them to develop new grids and everything else, which is why uranium in the URA ETF is in my view, a good long-term investment. Now, remember, most investments that I make are more like 3 to 5, at least 3 to 5 years, some of them as long as 10 years. And so ultimately, you're not going to see things just sort of flip really quickly. Now, I like selling options because that is quick. You can make your money right away. Like so, in this, I think is a great plan. Like for your kids. Like so, for example, if your kid owned, I always like to use Meta stock as an example because it's a safe one. It's not one that I trade options on because there are better options out there. But let's say your kid owned 500 shares of Meta stock. They literally this month, like remember, think about like real estate and stuff, right? You go invest all this money, you do all this work, and then you make a little bit of cash flow after you pay expenses. Well, if a person owned 500 shares of Meta stock, which would cost about a couple $100,000, right? Which you can't even buy a house now for that much. The average house is now $300,000. But they had 500 shares of Meta stock. They could sell an option that expires at the end of the month for, let's say they pick a conservative strategy of let's say a big strike price is 20 points above the current price. They would make $5,000 a month, right? So they would make almost $60,000 a year doing absolutely nothing, like literally just managing an asset, just managing what you give them. So I would encourage you to build a capital base for your child. This goes back to our Black Wealth Master Plan at blackwealthmasterplan.com. The Black Wealth Master Plan for kids is 3 stages. One, every child should learn how to start a business by the age of 12 in case they can't get a job. Number two, every child should own stock and have stock consistently bought for them by the age of 5. Number three, every child should be in a position by the time they're 21 to make a down payment on a property, which they will be if you follow rule number 2. If you follow rule number 2, then rule number 3 naturally takes place. It naturally occurs because your child has that capital base. This is better and more important than any college degree they'll ever get, any medical degree, any BS, BA, or MAMS. There are parents that have enough of a capital base that their kids literally can make the same amount of money as a surgeon at the age of 22, even if they didn't go to college. And I'm not making this up. This is not me being dramatic. I'm a financial scientist. So I'm not a YouTube influencer. I'm not all these other things that people do. No, I'm a finance professor. So the math works out, but you have to invest and build that capital base. If you don't have a capital base, it's really hard to get capital. I mean, it's really easy. You've always known this though. You've always heard people say it takes money to make money. Yeah, what they're saying is that that if you have a capital base, it's easier to make money. So build a capital base. How do you build one? Well, you do things like the $5 a day plan. Small amounts of money consistently purchased in the stock market builds up a capital base so that you're wealthy. In financial consciousness training, I explained to you guys, I said in 1924, we watched a video. Those of you that were there know what I'm talking about. We watched a video from the 1920s and saw how people lived and what people were dealing with and what people were thinking and everything else, what their cars looked like and what their planes looked like and all that. And I said, in 1924, the average income was about $1,250 a year. I said, if a person invested 10% of their income in the stock market in 1924 and did that for their descendants, then 100 years later, that family would be worth about $37 million. And so really what I am encouraging you to do is understand that capital bases are built through consistent investments by somebody in the family. Somebody's got to do it. If nobody plants a seed, then there is no harvest. But if everybody's planting tiny seeds, then you have a whole farm. And people who have big farms don't have a problem eating. You can eat forever. Let's keep going. All right, so let's see here. Let's see, Amani, can you please post an example of how to use our B1 affiliate link? Gail, talk to Amani. Amani, can you connect with Gail? Make sure she knows how to do the affiliate stuff. And if there's anything out there standardized that we can share that will help everyone learn how to be an affiliate of the Black Business School. Like for example, if you're a member of Prime and you love it and you have people that in your family that want to join, we'd love to give you a commission and allow you to make that into a business. Like we really want to support you in that because it's an ecosystem. You win, we win, they win, everybody wins, right? So if that's of interest to you, email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's support@theblackbusinessschool.com. They can show you the link. They can get you started. Amani's right there. Amani's good. And Chanel is great as well. And so they can all help you. All right, let's see. Next, Karen Lomax says, I saw an alert that AMC stock is on hold. You can't buy it right now. Why is that? Really? No way. Is that true? Is that on Robinhood? Ooh, oh, no, 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 no. Don't say that's so funny. Oh, 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 wow. Let me see. I'm gonna try to buy like 10 shares. Let me see. Order received. Okay. Is the order gonna go through? Okay, it's still twirling. It's twirling extra long. Okay, I played. Wow. Huh. Wow. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And the reason that it's interesting is because I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know what the situation is now. I do know that in the past, Robinhood was accused of basically what was a type of corruption. They have somehow they have a relationship with Ken Griffin, I think that's his name, who's a very wealthy man who runs a company. I think it's Citadel Capital, and I mean, he's so wealthy. People like LeBron James and stuff can't compare to him. This guy makes $2-3 billion a year. And anyway, so what happened was that when they were pushing AMC stock up and pushing up GameStop and all that, there were companies connected. There you go. You saw the Netflix special, Dumb Money. I think they might have brought that up then. So as they were pushing the stock price up, it was creating the squeeze on the short sellers and really causing them to lose billions of dollars. So there are some who accuse Robinhood of artificially restricting the ability to buy the stock so that the short sellers could get out of their contracts and stop losing money to stop the bleeding. And some of these companies were connected to Griffin, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember all the details, but that was kind of so it was basically the fix was in. People still wanted to keep the stock running, and there were people who artificially stopped the stock from running, and they did that mostly on Robinhood. Now, just so you know, this order did go through. I bought the 10 shares. So now I owe now I own an extra 10 shares of AMC. Let's pray for me now. And so it looks like the order went through. So I don't think it's all stopped for good, but I do see a warning here. on Robinhood that says some stock exchanges, not Robinhood, have temporarily halted trading in AMC. Now that's interesting. I think the reason they say not Robinhood is because they know that people were very suspicious of their behavior when that happened the first time. And I don't doubt for a second that there might have been some corruption going on. Now, if you look at GameStop, there's another warning here that says this stock has recently experienced elevated volatility. So that just means you're kind of trading in a dangerous neighborhood when you mess with that stock. Right now with GameStop, it looks like GameStop is up 43% today, but that's also kind of cooled off. So again, I'm not touching GameStop. I did a little bit with AMC because it's cheap and it's easy. But even then, it's kind of you still have to be careful with these stocks. Okay, so there you go. That's my 2 cents. All right. Okay, next question. Let me answer a few more questions. Then I actually have to run. I got to go to the DMV, and then I got to pick up my wife from the hairdresser. And you know how y'all women get when your man don't pick you up. Let's see. I sold half of my AMC shares, so I already broke even. Good for you. Good for you. Not sure if you answered this already, but how do you feel about selling cash secured puts on GME? I wouldn't do it just because the thing about it is if you sell a put, you're, I mean, maybe, I don't know. Let me look at it and I'll tell you what I think. But the thing about selling a put though is remember that you're guaranteeing the price you'll pay. You're not guaranteeing where the price will be when you do pay. So the price is 41.76. So if I sell a put with a strike of say 35, that's fine if the stock price is only 35 or 34. But what if it drops to 14? Then I got to pay $35 for a $14 stock. So I kind of took a bath on that. So a good way to maybe balance that might be to buy a deeper out of the money put to protect you from the fact that that put price could actually drop. Now, if you look at it just from a logistical standpoint, if I was to sell a put on GME stock, the price is 41.76. First thing I would do is I would take advantage of the fact that put prices are incredibly high. So that means that I can go down pretty far in my strike price and get a little bit of a decent return on my money. So the price is 41. I can sell a put with a put that expires on May 17th with a strike of $29 and get $2.09 per share. So let's see what happens here. So this is cash money in my pocket. Let's say I did that for I don't know, let's say 500 shares. Okay, so 500 shares means that I have to be prepared to come up with 500 times $29, which would be about 15,000 bucks, in order to make this trade. Now they would give me $1,000 for providing this insurance. So if I did that, I could then go and get $1,000 in my pocket. So what I've done is I've actually sold insurance. I basically have told the speculators if the stock drops below 29, I'm prepared to step in and be a buyer at 29. So you have to ask yourself if you feel comfortable being that person. I personally don't. Now, if I did, though, the collateral would be the amount of money it will cost me to fulfill my obligation as basically the insurance company for the stock. So it's up to you. I mean, I wouldn't say it was crazy and stupid to do, but if somebody was okay with taking ownership of the stock at a lower price and felt like maybe the stock wasn't going to even hit the price anyway, then why not collect that, $1,000 payoff or whatever? But just remember, when they give you that $1,000 in your bank account, it's because you are giving some sort of downside protection to the investors in the stock who are worried about the price dropping below 29. All right, a couple more questions, then we're going to bounce on out of here. Let's see. One more reminder, by the way, speaking of like managing risk and stuff like that, I have a training on storm-proof investing, basically showing ways to protect your portfolio for what a lot of people believe is going to be a market decline in the second half of the year. There are lots of people that are predicting that certain catalysts may kick in, like the commercial real estate market, stuff like that, may push prices down. It was a one-day training. It's lifetime access. I don't know how much it costs, but it's not very much. So if you'd like to go take a look at it, go to stormproofinvesting.com. That's stormproofinvesting.com, and you can take a look at that. All right. So let's see. Brandon says, "Are you still selling options on Marathon Digital?" Yes, I do. I like Marathon. If the price moves, I just manage my investment and roll down, roll up, do what I got to do, and that's a steady stream of income. I've probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars just from that stock alone in terms of income. I pay my credit card bills with my business that I do with Marathon. So yeah, I like Marathon. Let's see here. Do you think Tempest Therapeutics is still a good stock? And do you still own yours? Jake, if I bought it, I don't recall selling options on it, but if I bought it as a long-term investment, I probably do own it. I don't sell stock that often. I usually just buy and I just throw it in the bucket and I just leave it there and allow it to grow, allow it to do what it's supposed to do. The best way to grow your wealth is not pick at it. Like my wife and I owned Nvidia because we bought it because our son told us about it in 2017, 2018, and we didn't touch it. We didn't even think about it. So when I saw Nvidia shoot up, I said, "Oh, I wonder if I own any Nvidia." And I looked, and we had bought like maybe, I don't know, 100 shares or something, and it was worth like, I want to say like almost $100,000 when we finally looked at it again, and we had bought it for maybe 4,000 or something. So yeah, so a lot of times just buy your stock, own it, and just I'm a believer in leaving it there. Doc, do I need 50K to invest to get a couple thousand per month? Um, yeah, I think you can I think you can get more than a couple thousand. Depends on what kind of risk profile you take on. But yeah, I think I've seen people take 50K and make enough money to pay most of their bills with that. So yeah, that's doable. All right, so let's see here. Aisha says, I have 4 children. I would like to do the $5 a day plan for them. What's the best platform, and do I need to have a separate account for each of them? No, Aisha, I wouldn't overthink it. I would literally remember you're the boss, you're the matriarch. You're sacrificing for the kids, but I think you should also sacrifice for yourself. So that means that this money builds an asset base, a capital base for the family, not just for the kids. It's for everybody. And, the mama, my wife, I talked to my wife about this a lot. I'm like, you black mamas, I love y'all so much, and I love what black women do, but some of y'all sacrifice so much for everyone, and you almost leave yourself off the table in terms of who should benefit from all your sacrifice. And so what I told my wife is, I said, keep being the same person you are. Keep going above and beyond for everyone, because that's what makes you so valuable. But go above and beyond for yourself too. Like we'll go shopping and she'll buy stuff for everybody except herself. And I'm like, no, you deserve to have something nice too. Why can't you love you as much as you love yourself? So what I would say to you in that principle, in that spirit, with my own particular bias, is this is your money. This is your capital base until you decide to transfer that to the children or whatever. They don't even need to know it exists. They don't. They just know, like with our kids, we just tell them, look, don't worry about it. You're gonna be all right. If one of us dies, just know you're gonna be cashing checks and you're gonna have to get a financial advisor. But for the most part, when I say one of us, I'm talking about me, their mother, and their dad. I'm the bonus dad, and then they have a biological dad. All of us are good with money. And so with the kids, we don't give them specifics. We don't say, oh, well, in this account, we've got this much for you and we bought this for you. We don't do none of that, because I want them to live life. I just want them to hustle and work and grow and learn and build. And then what we do is going to be kind of a bonus, because I don't want to, can corrupt you. Money can ruin a young person. If you give them $100,000 and they're 17 and they don't even have a purpose in life, a person with resources but no purpose is going to destroy every resource they have. They just are. Just like a person who has a car and they don't know how to drive and they have nowhere to go, they're going to drive fast and crash into a tree. So to me, let them build their purpose. So just make those investments for them. $5 a day per child is $20 per day. For a lot of you, that's affordable. That's $600 a month. A lot of you have car notes that are more than 600 per month. Over the course of a 20-year period, that's roughly $350 to $400,000 for the family as a capital base that will allow your children to be able to do things that other black kids, other white kids cannot do. And by the time they're 30, you're talking about, that's when you're talking about close to $1 million. That's a beautiful family legacy. That means, what does that mean? That means we ain't got no problems with student loans that affect so many millions of people. We don't have big problems making a down payment on a house. We can own property whenever we want to. We don't have to go to work anymore. We can quit our job whenever we want, because we have assets and we know what to do with them. It also means less financial stress and financial anxiety. Nobody's having to go sleep with somebody in order to get money, or go to a Diddy party and try to earn or monetize their body parts. Everybody's in a position where they can make safe, free, healthy, happy choices, because they can have a purpose that goes beyond money. See, the thing about it with money is that money is important, but money is not the finish line. Money only appears to be the finish line when you don't have any money. When you don't have any money, money becomes the sole reason for living. That's the sole purpose of doing anything. But then when you get money, what that does is that unlocks another level of consciousness where you're able to focus on all the things that are more important than money. People that have money don't sit around and just think about money all day. They protect their money because they're protecting their freedom. So really, they're not thinking about getting the money. They're really thinking about getting the freedom and getting the happiness and getting all the things that money can buy. Money can give you the ability to buy, right? Money does not buy happiness, but money gives you access to happiness. Money unlocks your life It gives you the day off work. It gives you the ability to make decisions that will enhance your happiness without money being the constraint. So if you say, I would be really happy if I could just take a little break and a vacation, you're not saying, well, I can't do it because I can't afford it. You say, okay, let me go ahead and book that trip. You understand? So that's where you want to be. So anyway, let me keep going. How do you feel about LVMUY? I don't know that stock. Is that LV? Let me see. LVMUY. LVMUY. I don't see a stock with that ticker symbol. So I have to apologize. That stock does not appear in Robinhood, which means it could be a pink sheet or a stock that's off of the major exchanges. I don't mess with stocks like that, to be honest with you. When investing $5 a day, are we just adding it to the broker's account? Are we buying stocks daily? If not, if so, which stocks do you suggest invest? Okay, great question, Audrey. I would start with an ETF or a mutual fund. The ticker symbols that I like would be perfect are SPY and VOO, Victor Oscar Oscar, Sierra Papa Yankee. If you and the money needs to be activated so that the money is going to grow. So you can go in buy SPY, you can do automatic deposit and buy $5, which $35 a week of SPY, and do that every week. Have that come out of your check, or you can do it monthly, $150 a month of SPY, and then set it and forget it. And then you're becoming what David Bach refers to as the automatic millionaire. He wrote a whole book about people that make little investments like that every week or every month, every time they get a check, and they become very, very wealthy because of it. I also, by the way, there's also a list of AI stocks that are like, there's a great AI ETF and some other stocks. So if you'd like to get that list, make sure you just text the word stock to 87948. Text stock to 87948, and I'll send you that as well as some other resources. So text stock to 87948, and I'll send that to you. All right. So put it all in one account. That's what I would do, Aisha. It should be in your account under your name. The kids don't have to know nothing until you surprise them when they're 25 years old and they say, "Hey, mom, I need to borrow $500." And you say, "Well, guess what? I've got 400,000 sitting over here for a rainy day." But now it's the Bank of Aisha, which means that if I don't approve of what you're doing with your life, like if you're gonna take that money and go buy some crack with it, I'm not doing that. But if you are taking that money to go to graduate school, or taking that money to invest in real estate, or starting your first business, then guess what? You and mama can make a deal, right? But remember though, earning wealth is hard. Protecting wealth is just as hard. Most wealthy families lose all their wealth within one generation. They lose all their wealth in one generation because they don't have a clear plan on how to protect the wealth. So when you get money, you can't be flashy and splashy with it. You can't just throw it at every little thing that comes along. You have to have a process and a procedure that's really built on conservatism. Conservative behavior protects wealth. That's why wealthy people tend to be very conservative. If you look at Warren Buffett, he's super conservative. People say, why are you sitting on $180 billion in cash and you don't believe you have anything to invest in? It's because he's conservative. He's careful. He doesn't flop his money around. He's not going to be at the strip club putting money in a stripper thong. He's not trying to show off. He lives a simple life. Now, he's probably got a little bit of a mental illness, to be honest with you. I think he's a hoarder, and I think he has a hard time enjoying his wealth. I think those are two things from a mental health standpoint that I don't agree with Warren Buffett. But man, those hoarders know how to stack them chips though, don't they? They know how to make that money. So he's very good at that. And he protects his money. All right, so two more things. Kim or King May, how do you buy a piece of stock on Robinhood? If you go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com, all that's in there. Theblackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. I think you can start for $1. So everything that you want to know about investing in the stock market is there. Feel free to go take a look. Amani's here, so maybe Amani, if you could put a link in there, I would appreciate that. And again, that first month is either free or $1. So feel free to go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. The best day of the week, the stocks are the cheapest. I don't think Mondays, I don't think any particular day of the week is better than any other day. There's no theory behind that. I would say the best time to make a move is now, typically. Now, or if the market does dive a little bit, that's an even better opportunity to invest, but you got to be careful about trying to do what they call market timing. Most research says that market timing does not work. It feels like it works. That's why people do it. It just doesn't. Take it from a guy who sat through way too many seminars about this type of stuff in grad school. Jennifer says, my Prime membership come with a private session with Dr. Boyce? No, those come with a fee. However, Prime members do get a discount. So if you'd like to get the discounted price, just reach out to email support at theblackbusinessschool.com, or Monty's right there in the chat, and she can link you up with a private session. So what's the discount code one more time? I don't know which one you're mentioning, Heather. However, if you want to go to our Black Wealth Mastery store at drboycebooks.com, that's drboycebooks.com. For today only, everything is 60% off. Every 60%. I hope I didn't say 70. Sorry, 60% off for everything in the store. That's for one day. So the code that you can use at checkout is literally today only 2024, all one word. Somebody type that in the chat for me. Today only, all one word. Today only 2024. It's all one word. There's no spaces. Today only 2024, and that's drboycebooks.com. You can get my books. You can get Dr. Claude Anderson's books. You can get our financial flashcards for kids. You can get our workbooks for children. You can get digital trainings. You can get all kinds of stuff. You can get my wife Alicia's workbooks. She's running our Black Financial Therapy department. This is the first ever Black Financial Therapy department created anywhere on any campus, anywhere. So we are the best on earth at Black Wealth. There's no place you can find that's doing it better than us. Last question. Do you suggest we get a financial advisor to set up the trust to our accounts? Yeah, I think it is good to have somebody to help you with a trust. I don't think you automatically need a lawyer, but I don't necessarily know if I feel like I would not say that I believe that doing it all by yourself is the best approach right off the bat, unless you're really good. So I would talk to a specialist or a financial advisor. Maybe reach out to your local bank. There are people that can do that. I did mine with an attorney. My parents did theirs with an attorney, but attorneys do cost money. And so if that's hard for you, there are people out there that can do trusts that are not lawyers. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. God bless you. And it was great to hang out with you. And again, the platform for our Black Wealth Mastery store, where all that stuff is in there, you're going to love it. It's like a grocery store for learning how to become a rich Black person. So if you go to drboycebooks.com, that's drboycebooks.com, the code to get 60% off for today only is literally today only 2024. Today only 2024, all one word. Put that in when you check out, and the discount will pop up. Last but not least, if you want to get invited to our financial consciousness training every morning, it's like a money mindset kind of thing. It's really, really good. You're going to like that too. Just text the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. Text morning to 87948, and I will send you a link to join us. And then last but not least, for those of you that are Prime members, the Moneymaker Grid has been updated, so you can go look at that. There's some juicy stuff in there. There's some real nice stocks that just, I mean, I just make the list. I start getting excited. I start salivating. I like Pavlov's dog. And also, we're going to have a Prime class again soon. Those of you that are interested in taking a look at Prime and seeing what we do, feel free to go to drboyceprime.com. That's drboyceprime.com. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. God bless you. Have a great day. I will see you all very, very soon.